Welcome to Classic Heart, the BMW Group Classic Podcast. This is JP, and our guest today is Daniel Lucas, and he will tell us how he discovered his love for BMW in the GDR, where there were no BMWs back then.
This car is the most honest car you ever see.
It's been a dream ever since I've had it.
The first time I heard that engine screaming, I thought, I gotta have one of those.
It's the joy of driving.
What's great about a BMW Classic is the community that surrounds it.
When you listen to that, that's why we're here.
And also, Daniel plans to apply for the Concorso d'Eleganza Villa d'Este, and I'm excited to learn more about this. Welcome, Daniel.
Hello, JP. Thank you for inviting me.
So home for you is the city of Rostock, which is a very old port city, and I think was part of the Hansa and everything, like lots of history.
Yes.
Wonderful, located at the Baltic Sea, so you can be already, that makes you a lucky person, I'm sure.
I grown up at the beach.
Very good. But now is the question, from the beach to cars, how did this all start?
A part of Rostock is Warnemünde. It's located at the Baltic Sea, and there are the best restaurants in the seaside and the front side in the GDR time. Yes. And I think it was 1987 or 88. And in front of the restaurant, I came out, there stand BMW E30 convertible, black with black plastic bumpers. And I saw the car and I was totally impressed. It was, I think, from Hamburg or Berlin. I don't know the plate now. And I was impressed. And I said to me, I want to have this car, exactly this.
I need to stop you there because we have a very young audience and very international ones. And we speak about GDR and so on. So I think we have to do a little bit of a history lesson. So here's the classic hard German history lesson. So after the war, Germany got split up in two parts. One was the eastern part, one was the western part. One developed the GDR, which is the German Democratic Republic. And then we had West Germany. And these were completely two different systems. They were divided by a wall in Berlin that you cannot pass. And also the border was very strict, so very difficult to go back and forth. This all collapsed in 89 and then ended up in the reunification in 90. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's all correct.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing is that we have someone who witnessed both. Because also in the GDR, you had very specific cars. One is the Trabant, which is very famous. We had the Wartburg. If you were a bit of upper class, you had a Lada if you were in a political function. And I think the governmental cars were, a lot of the state cars were Citroën and Volvos.
Volvo.
Right? So seeing a BMW in that environment in 87 was something very special. So you were sitting in the can of the GDR and you saw the yachts going by and the boats driving by, and you had a coffee or toast Hawaii at that time, which is a toast with a layer of ham and some pineapple on top.
Ananas.
Yes, pineapple on top and cheese. So a very specific dish also from the GDR, I think. I know it from there. And then you saw this black E30 BMW. Did you have any contact to BMWs before? Or was this really the first BMW you saw in real life?
I think it was the first,
Wow.
A little bit later, my uncle, he is a mechanic.
Yeah.
And we drove at the old, it's called F5, between Hamburg and Berlin. And we go up and down to look for Western cars and help them if they had any problems. And he got earned a little bit money with that. And
very good,
then,
very smart.
And then I see more Western cars. But I think it was the first Western car. I was 11 or 12, so I saw it and it was boom. It was my very first moment. I see a car that had design, design and function. So we didn't had convertibles in the GDR. It's
only the army had the Trabant Kübel, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
but that was not available to a broader audience.
No.
So I'm very happy that your first car that inspired you to become car crazy was a BMW, and it was an E30, and it was a convertible, which is like now one of the most sought after models, and the young people, the young collectors, love that car.
Yeah, it's iconic.
It's very iconic. And at the age of 11 or 12, you decided to own one of these BMW models. This was a far-fetched goal, wasn't it?
It was so far away like a journey to the moon. But I was a child. So a child can dream. Yeah, keep up your dreams.
And follow them, absolutely.
Follow them. I had two dreams. One was to own this car, and the second was to earn money and spend the money for cars. And the first dream come true, and on the second,
You're still working on the second
I'm still
one.
working at this.
Yeah, you work as a real estate developer, so that
Yes.
means you develop buildings, which then later you rent out or you sell out and things like this. It's a very interesting business because there's so much facets in it. But your dream to own a BMW E30 became true.
It was the best car of my life, and I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I bought it from an older man, and he had it yellow gold outside with bumpers in chrome.
Amazing. Amazing.
And now it's the best color you can ever choose for this car.
Yeah.
I think so. And the inside, it was a brown cord.
Also so cool.
Yeah, very cool. And yeah, I bought it from this old man for 5,500 Deutschmark. And I had it for 2.5 years. And maybe, I think, 60,000 or 80,000 kilometers. I made only oil changing.
Yeah.
And put 2 Magnat speakers in the back.
Yeah.
That it was.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, but we haven't disclosed what it was. It was a 318, is it correct?
It was a 318 injection.
Injection of
It's
obviously. If so, in yellow gold metallic.
Yeah, that was the first BMW, and it was for myself the experience with BMW.
Yeah.
And it was heavy quality.
Mm-hmm.
I sold the car after 2.5 years. I sold it to a guy for 7,500.
Hello, Mr. Developer. Buying for 5, selling for 7.5 after
Yeah.
60,000 kilometers. Well done.
It was a good time in the 90s. And I put it to a garage from the father of a friend of mine
Mm-hmm.
and sold it from that. I had so a realistic dream that the car is still in the garage. Maybe if anyone hear this podcast, and
Definitely BMW guys and girls.
I think the car was from 82 or 83, and you own this yellow coupe, 2-door.
Okay, so everyone, I mean, it's a color combination that's not, I would say, not the obvious choice of a 318 E30 in my opinion, but nevertheless a wonderful one. And so when you heard about something like this with the history of some owner and one owner, his name is Daniel from Rostock, then please reach out to us and we try to make the reunification happen, another romantic reunification.
Oh, that would be very fun. Yeah. Maybe he's survivor.
So this was not the last BMW you owned, right?
No. With the next one, I made my dream come true. The black E30 convertible with the black bumpers. It was a 320 with a 6-cylinder.
How was it feeling when you found a car that matched the experience you had when you saw it the first time when you were a kid?
It was a little bit strange that you got it, so you cannot keep up your dream.
Yeah.
So you made your dream come true. It was such a wonderful feeling. And I know first time I opened the roof and drove it, I had such a good stand at the girls.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's not the car, Daniel. It's the inner values. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, JP. It was totally black inside, black outside.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of kilometers with it. I invited my mom. She had a little bit sad time, and I said to her, "Come, jump in tomorrow.
Yeah.
We go to Monaco.
Wow.
We take the car and go to Monaco, and yeah."
If you have bit of troubling times, I think that's very cool to get distracted and enjoy the beautiful things in life, not only the things you worry about too much. So I think it's very nice of you. You left from Rostock down to Monaco?
Yeah.
Wow. How many kilometers are they? What do you say?
1,200 maybe?
Yeah, something like this, yeah.
300, yeah.
Wow.
For us, it's normal to reach the nice places. We have to go out and drive, yes.
No, absolutely.
So, yeah, for us, it's important to have nice cars.
And as far as I know, Daniel, also your father has a close relation to BMW. He worked at the BMW Group factory in Leipzig, which is, by the way, one of the most modern facilities in the car world.
Yeah, he was a quality manager and keep up the production line. So that was for him, it was a team of 30 people. His name is Achim. And so
kudos to Achim. Thank you very much for keeping the BMW virus alive in the family with Daniel.
Yeah.
That's very cool. But besides four wheels, are you also interested in BMW motorcycles?
Yeah, I have two of them. The GS, if you want to make some kilometers, some distance, the GS is outstanding.
Yeah.
It's the best bike you can have. And I have the last one air-cooled. The 1150. I like engines. One of my collector themes are the engine.
So do you organize tours or do you go on your own and drive with the motorcycle? Or do you really do long trekking tours or like grand touring through different destinations, driving mountain roads and things like this?
It's an interesting question because on a motorcycle, I reached the Lake Como. I don't know it before.
Ah, okay.
It was my first tour. In 2007, we reached the Lake Como, and I was totally in love at the first time. You know what I mean, JP?
It's quite easy to fall in love with that part of the world. And of course, if we say Lake Como, of course, we need to jump to the Concorso dell'Eleganza Villa d'Este.
I was only a visitor. My target is to be a participant in the next year.
Which car would you take from your collection?
I will take a Talbot Lago T26 Grand Sport.
The elegance factor is definitely given with that car, I have to say. Was your trip to the Concorso dell'Eleganza Villa d'Este with the motorcycle already part of the preparation, like early preparation for the participation at the Concorso?
No. I was invited there. I don't know what will happen and was totally flashed. I see one of my dream cars, the DB4 Aston Martin.
Yeah.
DB4, I think so, Zagato.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, there was there in a beautiful green.
Yeah.
But you are so flashed by this influences you got.
Totally overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop, really. I have a relation to that event, as many know from our podcast, and I can tell you it never stops. It has always the same magic. And this is why I encourage everyone. I mean, you don't necessarily need to go to the very limited access because of just of space event at the Villa d'Este itself on the Saturday, because the flair and the whole spirit of the event, you feel also with all the things around it. And if you go to Villa Erba, and I think that they opened the Villa Erba now already also on Saturday, like they did last year, and have people coming and gathering. And then on Sunday, of course, seeing the cars of the Concorso d'Eleganza, that makes it really, really special.
I think it's the most beautiful because it is a small location for this. You have old racing cars that never been touched by any restorer. It is in original condition.
Yeah.
I like the spirit. If someone has this enthusiasm, who has this passion for cars, I like that at this concours you have guys, they are very authentic.
And this is also why I think BMW does a great job with this, making this possible, because it's not easy. It's not that you get shiploads of money back home. That's definitely not the case. And so I really enjoy how BMW is managing it, and also new ideas they bring up and develop the event.
JP, I have a question for you.
Yes, shoot.
So you talk about that I want to participate at the Villa d'Est with my own car.
Yeah.
Can you explain the facts to bring a car to the Villa d'Est?
So you mean from the process of applying a car and what later happens and what the jury will look for and focus on? I can, because as everyone might know, I do a little pause of my activities as a member of the jury, and I don't tell you any secrets that would have a bad influence on the way your application goes. So what you do first is you find the car, and I would go for the Turbo Lago in that sense.
Yes.
You find the car and you prepare it, and then you apply your car via the website of the Concorso de Eleganza Villa d'Este. And there's a section which says apply your vintage car. And then they ask you several questions about the history of the car. They would like to see some photos, how long you have the car in your possession, and all these kind of things, all the details you have. The better you are prepared, the better it is for the selection committee, who is
the historic line, yes?
Exactly. So there are two bodies. One body is the selection committee, which is completely different people than the jury, right? So these are two different bodies in the concours world, and especially also at Villa d'Este. That means the selection committee choose, of all the people who would like to participate with their cars, choose the best cars that fit into themes and also are proper cars, not fake cars, not questionable cars with history and stuff like this. This is the whole job of the selection committee. I think there are 6 people, but this I don't know, because they're very secretive, because they don't want to be influenced, obviously. So you send everything over. If everything goes through, you will get an invitation to the Concorso Eleganza Villa d'Este. Daniel, congratulations, your car has been accepted. And then they let you know in which class you are in, like the most flamboyant cars or the French coach build or whatever the classes can be. My recommendation is to prepare your car very, very well, and also with knowledge, but not too much, because the jury does not have much time, unfortunately. But the more information they receive from the contenders beforehand, via the selection committee, the better they can be prepared. And then the scrutineering, it is the process when the 3 jury members come to your car and go through certain points of their checklist, which I don't share, because that's something we don't do. And they're also changing, so it's not always the same. And the better you prepare yourself before and on the day the scrutiny happens, the better it goes. So, and what's very important is, this is a concours of elegance. So it's about elegance. And even though if you have a sports car, like, we celebrated the centenary of Le Mans, and obviously a Le Mans car is not necessarily the most elegant car, but still you can find elegant elements in race cars, right? So with your car, for example, it's completely different, because they are considered, Turbo Lago, especially your model, the T26, is considered as a very elegant car. Right?
Yes.
So just in general. And the factors...
I cannot come with the road dirt on it.
You shouldn't. This is also... I come to this point later.
Yeah, okay.
So you should really prepare the car. That means the car needs to be running and going. It should be cleaned, just as respect for the jury and the car itself, yourself, and also the guests who will look at your car, right? So it should be really cleaned meticulously. But it doesn't matter if you use the car and you have like road use on it. That doesn't matter. If you have like a chip somewhere, something like this, then you tell, I use this car, I drive X thousand kilometers a year with it. Then this one is not a negative impact if you see the use of the car. Especially, as we said at the beginning, get out and drive. So we want people driving the cars. So the factors are the originality of the car, the history of the car, and most foremost, the design and elegance of the car. So these are the 3 major factors. And where you can have yourself influence is, like, if you have historical pictures of your cars, even though it was different color or had a different setup, everything that completes the whole story of the car is very helpful to raise the chances of winning a Concours of Elegance, because it's also about the history of the particular model or the particular car. And then the soft factors, which I always say, which are nice, but they're not the criteria where you can win or lose. It's just, for example, it's about points, right? The car can get a certain amount of points. And if you have some cars that have the same amount of points, of course, you need to go into the details. And what I always like is if people take the extra mile and try to find, if they have a historical photo of their car, try to find how the number plate looked like and get this number plate made. Reproduction. It doesn't have to be the original one.
I have the original one.
Even better.
On the car.
You know what I mean? Even better. But then put it on. Don't keep the no Euro number plates on. And these are all the things. We had a participant, I remember some years ago, it was a very flamboyant car. It was a Rolls-Royce, and it was owned by a show dancer, and she in the 20s. And she, driving this massive car, and it was known that this show dancer was smoking Lucky Strike. So he went and go far to find period correct Lucky Strike packages that he put into the car as she just have left the car.
I like that.
Because she was known for, there's a photo where she smokes in the car. And these are the details that not only make fun for you as the owner, but this is also something that a jury and the public really value.
Very authentic.
Yes. So don't overdo it. It's not a thing where you dress up in a party, in a sense. This is what you can also do if you do it in period, but then do it right. Don't come, you have a fantastic car and you come from the Kölner Carnival. It's not a good combination.
Okay.
Do it right.
Yeah.
If you have a car, for example, from the Gulf region, and there's a photo of a sheikh in his thobe, this white dress, then really find out who's the tailor for this, call someone in the UAE or whatever, and go the extra mile and do it right. Right? Don't go to the next shop and get some stuff, right?
That you mean the extra mile.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's important. I hope this answers your question a little bit, because so major factor is elegance overall. And then comes authenticity, originality, and then, of course, all the little details we just described. And this whole mix makes a perfect participation at the Concours event.
I paid 2,800 euros for the right rear mirror. I bought it in Paris.
Yeah. And if you can't because it's above budget, then don't do it. It's not. But if you can do it, go the extra mile. It would be really appreciated. So I think with best of luck with your car.
Thank you.
As I said, it's not secrets. I told that to everyone tuning in. It's just experience, and that's a fun-known fact.
Mega. Thank you.
You're welcome. But Daniel, a car isn't just an object of design, elegance, or great engineering. For me, at least, and I think this is shared by many others, it's about the driving experience. What's important to you when it comes to driving?
I like to drive cars as they made. So
no tuning.
No tuning, but if you have a sportive car, you can use it as a sportive car.
Yeah.
So road legal, and
of course,
if you drive a rear-wheel drive car and front engine, you have a great balance in the car. And I like to get out of the corners, or you have a rear-wheel drive and rear engine car. It's a little bit trickier to drive it, but I'm very enthusiastic driver. So the passion is driving.
Yes.
I think that's an important thing.
Again, get out and drive. That's what we can all recommend, especially if you have BMW E30. The power from the rear and the engine in the front is a very good combination.
I learned very quick how to drive that. We have a strange corner with knucklehead surface, with a cathead surface.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit slippy. And I was a little bit too fast at the throttle. And I go immediately to the building market, put a sack of concrete in the back.
Yes, to have more weight on it.
And so it's fine. And you do it in every winter time.
You local do it yourself. You only buy some weight for the back of the car. I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you have the responsibility.
No, absolutely. Do it in line with your capabilities of yourself as a driver and, of course, of your car. And speaking of capabilities, we have a little thing that's called the pit stop. This is a series of questions, and I would like you to answer quite quickly without thinking too much about the answer.
Okay.
Daniel, are you ready for our little pit stop?
Yeah.
Okay, we start now.
Go ahead.
Tief Schwarz or Brewster Green?
Booster Green.
Mint condition or patina with history?
Patina. And history.
Driving alone or with company?
Company.
Driving or being driven?
Driving.
Car sharing or no car?
No car.
Coupe or limousine?
Coupe.
Road trip or racetrack?
Racetrack.
Stick shift or pedals?
Stick shift.
Engine in the front or in the rear?
In the rear, I think. It's more heavy.
Sell or keep?
Keep.
Buy at the dealers or at auction?
From private, but at auction.
Okay. Goodwood Revival or Goodwood Festival of Speed?
Revival.
Concorso della ganze Villa d'Este or Nürburgring? Very unfair question.
That's a very unfair question. No, the Villa d'Este. In the Nürburgring, you can join every time, but Villa d'Este.
Okay. And then last one. It's a very quick one at this time. Baltic Sea or Lake Como?
Oh, Lake Como.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's jump into your answers. What is this magic about Lake Como? What do you think?
I think it's the air, the sun, water, and hills, mountains.
Green mountains, we have to say, right? Because what I
Green
find so
mountains,
amazing is
yes.
that they are totally covered with trees and vegetation.
Only in the higher areas you have a little bit of rocks, but the rest totally in green. It's like you're covered. And
Very nice.
I can go kiting there in the north.
I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
You have small streets. You can go to, I think, immediately 6 or 7 mountain passes.
Yes, very close by. True.
You can go skiing, and you have many passionate guys. I like the Italian spirit.
How they celebrate cars. I think this is also something very, very special. I agree.
I think I'm half Italian.
Yeah, maybe deep in your heart.
I joined Lake Como, the Baltic Sea, for 50 years. So maybe
Time for a change,
at this time.
Daniel. Time for a change. Let's see. And the last one of our questions here on the little pit stop questions was the question, road trip or racetrack? So do you do track days? Is that something you do sometimes?
Yes, I like to go on a racetrack to understand your car.
Yes.
It's a fast learning process on the track.
Learn it the fast way or learn it the hard way?
You have to go at the limit from under, not from over.
Exactly. That's right. Fantastic. Thank you very much for this. And yes, we hope you keep us posted how it went with Villa d'Este. And
I will.
Of course, with the search for the 318 E30 in yellow gold with brown cord interior.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And if you like what you hear, then do us a favor and subscribe. Then you don't miss any future episode of a Classic Heart podcast. And of course, if you want to share your story, reach out to us. And if you would like to hear a story, then also reach out to us. So we are very open to this because in the end, this podcast is made for you. And this podcast obviously would not happening without a great team behind it. So I would like to thank Friederike von Königswald. She is our editor and of course the Scenario Studio in Munich. And last but not least, our producer, Robin Seiser. Thank you very much. And of course, in this case, Daniel, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your fantastic story. And
thank you
fingers
for having
crossed,
me.
Everything goes well. And I hope to see you soon in person again.
Thank you, JP.
Perfect.
I
Thank you
hope
very
to.
much. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.